welcome back to my channel. Well, do you ever find yourself waking up in the middle of the night and suddenly experiencing a panic or an anxiety attack? Do you ever feel like you're so overburdened by the worries of this world that it's difficult for you to even catch some sleep? Well, if that's your story, then it's probably because of what you are looking at. Confused? Well, then I think you should watch this video till the end. I'm going to be sharing in today's vlog is what the Holy Spirit has been teaching me from the Gospel according to Matthew. The first verse that I want us to focus on today is Matthew 6:22, where Jesus tells us that the eyes are the window of the body, and that if your eyes are filled with light, your body will be filled with light. And if your eyes are filled with darkness, well, that's exactly what you're going to experience in your life. In other words, the quality of life that you enjoy will depend on what you are focusing on. Well, to clarify this point a little more, let's take a look at another episode in the Gospel according to Matthew. That'll be in Matthew 14, the episode where Apostle Peter walks on water. Now, we all know what happened. There was a storm, the disciples were in the boat, fearful, and suddenly they see Jesus, their Messiah, walking on the storm. Initially, they get terrified, they think it's a ghost, and then Jesus clarifies, tells them, "Take courage, it's me," and eventually, Jesus invites Peter to walk on the storm as well. And I feel like this is so beautiful that Peter, who was a comparatively young follower of Jesus, was able to do this miraculous act of walking on the storm simply because he was focused and fixated on Jesus. But then there's also a second part to the story, the part when Peter's focus begins to deviate. He starts to focus on the waves. He starts to focus on the vastness of the storm itself. He becomes fearful and begins to sink. I feel like that is exactly what a lot of us are going through right now. Let's face it, the situation we're in is no less than a storm. The normal that we were used to seems like a far-fetched dream. In fact, I've almost forgotten what it was like for us to walk around without masks and without hand sanitizers. And then we are constantly reminded about the number of COVID cases rising, the number of COVID deaths rising, and there's the uncertainty of a vaccine, a crashing economy, recession, unemployment, you name it. We are constantly surrounded by bad news. And so it's natural for us to get worried. But the question here is, like Peter, what are you going to focus on when you are in the storm? Now, a lot of people tell me you need to introspect. Look at yourself. Now, I've tried to do that. Every time I look at myself, I'm left with more emptiness. I feel flawed and I feel very incapable of doing a lot of things. Whenever I look at the world, I'm left very, very confused and very fearful because the world is still trying to understand what's going on. In fact, the ideas of right and wrong in the world keep changing with every generation. So when I look in, I'm left with emptiness. When I look out at the world, I'm left with fearfulness. So the best thing to do is look up. Like Peter, look at the unchanging beauty and peace that comes from following Jesus. Now, the reason why depression is rising in the world, the reason why suicide is rising in this world is because we're all looking at the wrong things. Thanks to our phones, we have a lot of options of what we're going to look at. A lot of times I feel like we're looking at what the celebrities are doing. A lot of the times I feel like we are looking at what your friends are doing, what your neighbors are doing. And that makes you feel very, very incapable. That makes you feel very low. And it makes you feel, like I said, very dissatisfied with the world you're living in. So I just suggest you do what Peter did. Yes, we're in the middle of a storm right now. Yes, there is fear that surrounds us. So just look at Jesus. And as you do that, I believe the Lord is going to give us the authority to walk on this storm as well. Remember, as believers, we're not called to fit in, but we are called to stand out. And everything in this world is constantly changing. The Bible tells us that heaven and earth will pass away, but the words of God will never pass away. The Bible also tells us that it is only God who is never going to change. He's going to remain the same yesterday, today, and for forever. So be like the wise builder. Build your house on a firm foundation. Build your house on Jesus, the rock, and not on sand. And then, no matter what storm comes your way, you're going to be able to walk on it, just like Peter did, so long as he focused on Jesus. Well, if you were blessed by this video, then don't forget to press the subscribe button because I bring you hope-filled and Jesus-centric content every week.
If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel.